After both teams reveal their new rotations, we move into chapters 347 and 348 of Haikyuu. Now, Kamomedai has the most suffocating defense in this entire tournament. Nobody breaks through it. Nobody even comes close. Until now. So without further ado, let's get into it. As the second set kicks off, Sugawara watches from the sideline, quietly hoping that this is where Karasuno finally turns the tide. The tension is already building. And then, Kageyama unloads a fierce serve that rattles Kamomedai's defense. Hoshiumi gets a hand on it, but the receive was off. From the stands, Kenma observes with his usual sharp deduction. Both teams have shifted into unfamiliar rotations, and in his mind, the message is simple. Don't waste it. Karasuno has always played with that edge, that hunger. Their offense is their identity, and every player on that court knows it. Suwa sets it up beautifully to Hakuba for a back attack. Daichi gets a hand on it, but the deflection sends the ball sailing too far back. Kamomedai draws first point. Nozawa steps up to serve. Daichi receives it cleanly, feeds it to Kageyama, and without hesitation, Karasuno runs their synchronized attack and lands. That's 1 point back. Both teams have officially taken the measure of each other now. This is no longer a feeling out process. This is war. Tanaka takes the service line. He places the ball right in front of the net, a deliberate trap, and Besho never sees it coming. Nozawa scrambles to cover and gets it to Hoshiumi, but he's got two blockers closing in on him. Hoshiumi hits it off the block like he planned it all along. Nishinoya dives into the path of the ball, but the receive is off. Kogane notices it immediately. The set wasn't clean. And yet somehow, Hoshiumi still turns it into a point. That's the terrifying thing about him. The rally rages on. Points traded, errors made, neither team willing to back down. Now the rotation shifts, and this is where it gets interesting. Hinata is up front alongside Asahi and Kageyama. Daichi serves deep. Hakuba receives it, and Suwa, reliable as ever, sets it up again for their ace. But this time, Nishinoya is ready. He digs it perfectly, and the ball finds Kageyama. And Hinata. Hinata has figured something out. He's been watching, thinking, and somewhere in the chaos of this match, he finally found his answer. There are always gaps. Blocks can't cover everything. The other side is always open. So he does something that nobody in that gym is prepared for. He cuts across the entire width of the court, full speed, and launches into a slide attack. The hit was perfectly placed. For the first time in this match, Kamomedai's wall doesn't just hold, it cracks. The reaction in the stands says everything. Tenma, Akiteru, and the others are completely stunned. But look closer at the faces of the blockers. Tsukishima, Futakuchi, Hirugami, and you'll see something different. Not awe. Frustration. Because they understand exactly how absurd what they just witnessed truly is. Kuro leans forward. There's no stack block in the world that can keep up with that slide. Hirugami is already thinking 2 steps ahead. They're going to run that again, he says. Hoshiumi nods. He already knows. Daichi serves again. Nozawa receives and feeds it to Hakuba. A quick attack, straight and fast. Then it's Hoshiumi's turn to serve, and his serve is anything but ordinary. The ball goes towards Nishinoya, but he reads it, receives it perfectly, and sends it right into the middle for Kageyama. Asahi waits on the left. Hinata bursts through the middle again, cutting hard to the other side. Every eye on the Kamomedai side follows him, exactly as planned. And Kageyama dumps it. No spike, no set. Just a perfectly timed, surgical dump that lands before anyone even processes what happened. His own teammates go silent for a moment. That's how perfect it was. Hinata says, I genuinely thought it was coming to me. Kageyama looks at him and says, exactly. That's the genius of it. Kageyama doesn't just set the ball. He controls the entire court. His accuracy, his awareness, his timing, it operates on a level nobody else is playing at. Kuro breaks it down for anyone still catching up. Karasuno only has 2 hitters up front right now, but that doesn't mean Kageyama steps back from offense. If anything, this rotation is built for him. And Hinata? He's not just a scorer, he's a force of nature as a decoy. He makes every other hitter more dangerous, simply by being on the court. Kenma listens, then adds the other side of the coin. It does look strong, but Hinata will be staring down Kamomedai's two best blockers for this entire stretch, Hakuba and Hirugami. Two walls standing between Karasuno and the win. It's the sharpest spear against the stoutest shield. This is what volleyball looks like at its highest level. Now back to the match. Asahi steps up to the service line, and you can feel the shift. Karasuno's offense is finding its rhythm now, sharper and more intentional with every rally. He winds up and unleashes a powerful serve. But Kamomedai doesn't flinch. They receive it cleanly, feed it to Suwa, and both Hakuba and Hirugami come charging in. Suwa reads it all and whips it left to Nozawa instead. He slams it down. From the stands, Kenma watches Hinata closely. He's gotten smarter about blocking, noticeably so. But there's still ground to cover, still lessons being learned in real time. Tsukishima, naturally, has something to say about Hinata and Kageyama missing the block. He laughs, because of course he does. Yamaguchi gives him the look. We lost that point, Tsuki. Those three are something else, always at each other's throats, even when they're fighting for the same thing. Back on the court, Enoshita makes a sharp observation. It's almost impossible not to fixate on Hakuba and Hirugami when they come storming in from the right and charge over the center. They demand your attention, whether you want to give it or not. Coach Ukai takes a moment to acknowledge what Karasuno is actually doing here. In a normal rotation, their two tallest blockers, Kageyama and Tsukishima, would be standing side by side, a wall that has bailed them out more times than anyone can count. But this rotation? This isn't an accident. This is a deliberate sacrifice of defensive safety in exchange for something bigger. More offense, more aggression. The rally resumes. Hoshiyumi sends the ball sailing long, and it crosses over to Karasuno's side. Before anyone can process it, Hinata is already moving. He cuts the full width of the court again and swings hard. Hirugami is right there in his path, but his receive goes wild and flies out. Because here's the thing about that slide attack. It's not just fast, it's unknowable. You can't predict it. And even if you manage to key in on Hinata, Kageyama might not even send it to him. The mere possibility of another hitter being live means the blockers have too much information, too many options to process, and not enough time to react to any of them. Hirugami's jaw tightens. He can feel the frustration settling in. Hinata is no longer someone he can afford to ignore. A brief moment of levity. Both Hinata and Hakuba clip the net on their serves, each canceling out the other's mistake with equal clumsiness. Then the rotation cycles back to Kageyama on the service line. He serves. Kanbayashi receives, but it goes long. Suwa scrambles to save it and pushes it up to Hoshiyumi for a back attack, but the set falls short. Hoshiyumi, impossibly, still finds a way. He uses every inch of his airtime and wipes the ball off Tsukishima's hands. Kamomedai sends a clear message. You won't keep doing that to us. Hoshiyumi turns toward Tsukishima with something that might almost pass for a compliment. Your blocking is so good, he says. It gives me such an easy target. Tsukishima fires back a dry, hollow, thank you. And somewhere in the stands, Akiteru winces. The score is tied at 9. Suwa steps up to serve for Kamomedai. Shimada, watching from the sidelines, does not hide his dread. 3 of Kamomedai's most dangerous servers are lined up in this rotation, back to back to back. It's one of the most suffocating stretches in volleyball. Suwa launches a jump float serve. Tanaka moves to receive, and then the ball drifts. Just enough, just at the wrong moment. The receive goes unstable. Kageyama covers it and gets it to Asahi. The blockers close in fast, same as always, but Asahi gets the block out. Karasuno steals the point. Futakuchi spots something. Kamomedai has quietly switched their defensive formation. They've moved into shade blocking. Kogane doesn't recognize the term, so Sakunami breaks it down. Two blockers positioned in the middle, one stretched wide toward the pin. It's a targeted system, designed to shadow one specific hitter and make their life difficult. Futakuchi adds the important detail. It's not as visually imposing as the stack block, but that's almost beside the point. It puts pressure on the player it's marking. It gets in their head. And right now, Kamomedai is pointing that pressure directly at Asahi. The message is deliberate and unmistakable. Yes, Hinata is disrupting us, but your ace is still our primary target. Hoshiyumi steps up to serve. Daichi receives. Nishinoya covers, and the ball finds Asahi. But this time, Hirugami is ready. He stuffs the attack completely. Asahi got so locked in on the man right in front of him that he never saw Hirugami coming. That's the system. A punishing serve to fracture the receive. A granite wall to shut down whatever comes next. Ruthless and efficient. Kamomedai's coach doesn't need to say much. The philosophy is simple. Serve well, and everything else takes care of itself. And when it comes to Karasuno, the scouting report is just as simple. There is one engine powering their offense more than anything else. One player who changes what every other player on that court is capable of. Stop Hinata from doing his job, and Karasuno unravels.
Karasuno finally cracked the wall, but Kamomedai already has the answer. This set is far from over, and both teams know it. If you made it this far, you already know this match is one of the best in the entire series. And if you want to see how this plays out, make sure you're subscribed. The next part is where things get really interesting.